Many young women dream of pursuing a career, getting married, and starting a family. However, between every dream and the goal is a process. Cally Logan knows that process all too well. In her book, Dear Future Husband, she shares the details of the letters she wrote for over a decade of her life, revealing the milestones in her journey as a single woman waiting for her husband, but finds a greater love through Jesus Christ. Callie's hope is to encourage young women to pray for their husbands, prepare for what it means to be a wife, and nourish their relationship with God above all else.
And joining us now is Cally Logan. Cally, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited about this book because I couldn't put it down. I'm married, but it just really ministered to me and reminded me of where God brought me from. I understand there's a huge God story behind why you even wrote this book. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, some time ago, God invited me and really asked me to give him my mornings. And so I did. And so every morning before I grab my phone, before I go into work and check an email, I spend time with Jesus and we just have coffee together. And it's such a holy time for me. And one morning, it was November 8th, 2021, he asked me a really peculiar question. He said, "What would you think of writing a book about your letters?" And of course, I knew what that meant, but I was so stunned by the question that I didn't really have an answer at the time. And at this time, we were in the edit process of my first book, Hang In There, Girl. And so on November 9th, the day after, I got another peculiar question, but this time it was from my publisher. And I said, we were going through your manuscript and we saw just a small section, about 3 paragraphs of this practice you have of writing these letters. And so have you ever thought of writing a book about that? Because we would love to have one. And I realized in that moment, God has a big purpose for this. It's far bigger than me. He has a message to share. And so I joyfully said, "Yes, Lord."
Wow, what a wonderful confirmation. He had already spoken to you, and now he's like, hey, sending somebody else to let you know you need to write this book.
Exactly.
People are probably curious, what prompted you to even start writing these letters to begin with? I mean, what was that process like?
Yeah,
and for 12 years.
Yeah, we just hit 12 years on it. So much of life was changing. I was 18 at the time. I was about to graduate high school, and I felt kind of sad because it was very evident that my husband wasn't in my life, but I wanted to share a lot of these milestones. I wanted to share a lot of the things that I was thinking about with him, and I thought, even if he's not here, I could journal to him. I could write letters to him. It'd be like a message in a bottle. And so I started doing that. And I never expected for it to be so long or for them to be so many, but yeah.
It reminded me of when I was single before I met my husband. It's been 9 years now, because I did something very similar to this, but I didn't write 300. You wrote 300 letters in total. What was this process like for you? Because I can imagine it wasn't all happy-go-lucky. You share your heart, you share your frustrations, and the fact that you were able to narrow it down to the book. How many to put in the book? What was that like?
Yeah, well, for the book particularly, I really prayed about, Lord, what's your message? Because this book it's not a memoir, it's not about me, it's about God. And it's the message that he has for his women, for his daughters. And I ask, what would you like and what's relatable? What are things other women are going through? What are they feeling? And I didn't shy away from being vulnerable, because it hasn't been an easy journey. It hasn't been waking up every day all happy. There have been a lot of tears. There have been mistakes along the way. And so in my letters and in the book letters, I really try to share that authenticity because it's a journey in itself.
It really does come across, your vulnerability. I think people can really relate to that, but we've got to talk about this whole issue of idolatry. Sometimes people can be so obsessed with, wanting to get married. I was there. I know what that's like. Do you think society and Christians in particular really have made an idol out of this whole idea of getting married and marriage?
Yeah, anything can be made an idol, because the definition of an idol is anything that we put between God and us. And I think over time, that's not, the goal or the desire for people to make marriage an idol, but I do think it becomes where that's the focus. You graduate from high school and it's like, all right, when are you going to find him? When are you going to get married? And they have good intentions, but we can sometimes become so hyper-focused on that we miss out on the story God's weaving and writing along the way. And ultimately, we miss out on that first relationship, which should be our first love and loving him most.
Powerful. How can we challenge the belief in some cultures that women are only worthy if they're married?
Yeah, I think looking at that in the way that you are worthy because God says you're worthy. and because he called you his own, and because he crafted you and he made you. And if marriage is for you and you have that seed of desire, then ask God, how can I prepare to be that woman? But in the meantime, who did you make me to be, and what do you have for me? Because I know I already have worth because you say I have worth. So why did you make me, and why did you put me on this planet? And what is my portion today? What is my portion in this season? What is my portion in this year?
And you weren't always in this place, in this space where you have received that and walked in that. There was a story you share in the book about this vision God gave you of the woman that you were going to be in the future.
Yeah.
Share that with us. That was so powerful.
It was an incredible, it was actually during a nap. It was a dream that I had that was just astounding. And I remember at the time I was just working a retail job. I was kind of battling a lot of depression, feeling really lonely. And God gave me this powerful vision of me in the future, just walking in confidence. And it wasn't in pride, it wasn't in arrogance, it was walking in confidence. And I could tell, I knew solidly who I was, and I knew solidly who God is. And I thought, man, you know, I'm not her yet, but I'm becoming her. And I'm excited to step into that fully. And I didn't want to rush it, you know. Even my hair was a little bit different at the time, and I thought, well, I don't want to rush this. I know God will bring me through to become that in his perfect timing.
Amen. Because, you know, talk about the importance about working on your relationship with God. This is what you've been doing on this journey before you get married. How important is that?
It is. Well, and like I said, you know, God's our first love. So no matter what relationship comes in your life, be it a friendship, be it a romantic relationship, be it anything, God's always going to be number one, and he should be. And so working on that relationship with him, that's not going to change when a husband comes in. When you get a boyfriend, he doesn't take the spot of God. He doesn't become your God. So having that intimate relationship with the Father and knowing him is such a gift. And then we get to experience that here, and then we get to experience that one day in heaven. So it's growing that here now, the treasures, you know, built up in heaven. We're working on them on earth here now.
Some of the most powerful words you write in this book are prayers. You actually include prayers for your future husband at the end of each chapter. Why is it important to pray for a future spouse?
I think it's important because they're living and breathing and walking around. You know, I think sometimes we kind of come into this idea that they don't exist until we have a name and a face and we can picture them. But, you know, we don't know what's going on in their lives right now. They could be going through struggles. They could be going through a really hard season. They could be going through a season where it's the pivotal moment where they step into a deeper relationship with God. And so they're very much worthy of our prayers. I think it's a good habit to start because as a spouse, you want to be praying for them each and every day. So praying for them on the other side. And I think looking at it too, that God might be doing a work in you. Say, God, what do you want for me to grow from during this prayer time? What are some habits? Maybe my spouse, I need to be patient, and you need to help grow patience in me. Maybe I need to become a better listener. Maybe I need to learn not to speak so quickly, and I just need to learn to be, you know, absorb things a little bit more. So what are the things that I should be keen to? These qualities in my spouse, help you know them. You're our mutual friend. So what are some of the things you can grow in me now as I pray for them, as I prepare for them?
Okay, so what's the plan for when you do meet your future husband? How do you plan to present these letters to him?
Well, so I have a kind of, you know, I have kind of a creative idea. So I got this old vintage suitcase when I was at this yard sale with my dad. It was a birthday fun shenanigan, and I have all the letters in this shoebox. And my plan is to take the shoebox, put it in the luggage, and write a little note and say a joke. This is the only baggage I'll bring into our marriage, which I'm sure won't be the case, but you know, one can hope. And give it to him on our wedding morning is what my hope is.
Wow,
so,
that's beautiful. So real quickly, what advice do you give to single women who are waiting right now? I mean, because you share frustrations, you share about depression, issues you were having. What advice do you have for those who are waiting, just like you're waiting?
I think don't discount the season you're in. Know that you are in this exact timing for a specific reason, that God, of all the times you could be alive, God chose for you to be alive right now, and He's doing a work in you. And just because you're not married, just because you're not dating someone, doesn't make you not worthy, and it doesn't mean God doesn't have a purpose. So I think keeping your eyes on Christ, saying that He has a beautiful opportunity for you to come to know Him outside of marriage and inside of marriage. So don't try and rush the process, because you only get this one life.
Amen.
So enjoy this moment, enjoy this day, enjoy your portion and your daily bread today.
So good. Callie's book is called Dear Future Husband, A Love Letter Journey While Waiting for God's Best. It is available wherever books are sold. Callie, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate you sharing your story, and go get this book. It's really good.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive family, and God bless you.